Hello, Sports Recap fam. This is Thursday. I'm a day late because yesterday I spent time actually playing disc golf for the first time. It was a lot of fun. But here I am going to do the Sports Recap Wednesday episode. Um, Yesterday I did ask my status which topic y'all wanted me to talk on, and many people told me they wanted me to talk about college football in general, so I will do so. Um, The topic today will be the journey to the BCS title. I will talk about the top six in the BCS standings. I think after six, you can go ahead and they can get over it. I think after six, you're done as far as BCS title is concerned. So let's get started. Number one belongs to LSU. LSU has a big showdown next Saturday against number two Alabama, and the rest of their schedule is Western Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Arkansas. Um, yeah, I only see one possible loss on that schedule. That's that possible Alabama game. So I expect LSU to probably have no more than one loss. Likewise, Alabama, their number two, has the showdown with LSU. The rest of their schedule is Mississippi State, Georgia Southern, and Auburn. Now, these Alabama certainly seems like they have a tougher slate of games, but I suspect they'll have one loss, if any loss at all, and it'll be next Saturday if it happens. So count on LSU Bama, one combined loss between the two by the end of the season. Um, Three is Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, the offensive juggernaut, they can score bunches of points. They've impressed so far this year. They're actually number one in the computer polls. They have K State, which is top 10 power right now. Texas Tech, who just upset Oklahoma last week. Iowa State, and then they had the Bedlam rivalry against Oklahoma. Um, it's difficult for me to sit here and tell you that Oklahoma State will be undefeated. Yeah, their defense, I'm just not sold on it. And they do have a team like Texas Tech. Texas Tech can score points. That's how they beat Oklahoma. And Texas Tech will definitely get their points when they play Oklahoma State. So Oklahoma State will definitely have to show up. They're definitely in the driver's seat to play the winner of LSU Bama, but they will have to win out because they lose a game that they're done. Now, OK State is definitely in the driver's seat because there's a big BCS gap between OK State and Boise State, who's number four. Boise State, by the way, number four. I don't understand why they're number four. The rest of their schedule is UNLV, TCU, San Diego State, Wyoming, and New Mexico. Um, I don't see a lot going on here with Boise State. Like they can win all those. The one possible loss I saw was TCU, but the TCU game is being played in Broncos Stadium, and the last time the Broncos lost at Broncos Stadium was I think around 2005. Don't count on it. I think Boise State will probably be undefeated once again, and once again they'll be snubbed in favor of better or more appropriate contenders. And I quote that because we don't know. Um, Number five is Clemson. Clemson, they can score a lot of points. Their defense is not super solid, but their defense gets it done when it counts. Um, they have a big showdown this Saturday against Georgia Tech, and then the rest of their schedule goes Wake Forest, NC State, and South Carolina. Um, I think this is very favorable for Clemson. Georgia Tech is not the team that we saw burst out of the gates at 6-0. The triple option has done Georgia Tech wonders. That's who they are. But when teams stop the triple option, Georgia Tech is not punishing them with the pass. Georgia Tech has missed all the passes that they made earlier this year, and those passes were the reason why they were 6-0. At least the win against North Carolina, yeah, Georgia Tech rushed for a lot, but those passes were killers, and Georgia Tech's missing those now. So this is the winnable game. Wake Forest to me is fool's gold. NC State is NC State, and South Carolina has no offense. Like it's difficult to watch them score against teams that don't really have a defense, like Auburn. So I expect Clemson to just flip that around and just reverse the fortune that they had when they played South Carolina last year and got blown out. Six is Stanford. Stanford has a tough task coming on. They have the big showdown in the Coliseum against USC. Also, Oregon State, Oregon, Cal, and Notre Dame. I, Stanford is also another team that I just can't see how they can make it through this stretch undefeated. I have them losing this Saturday to USC. I think USC is a really good team. They only lost one game. Nobody's talking about them because they're a bowl ban and blah blah blah. But USC is really good. Um, Also at Oregon, Oregon at Austin Zoo is ridiculous. Lil Michael James or no Lil Michael James, yeah, that's difficult too. And then you have Notre Dame, which Notre Dame is Jekyll and Hyde, but they can totally beat Stanford. Don't count Notre Dame out. So if Stanford loses one of those games, they're out. Now, this is the one thing that is working for Stanford, especially in reference to Boise State, Clemson, and Stanford. Um, if all these teams were to win out, Stanford will actually bowl ahead of both of those teams to four. Clemson would stay at five, and Boise State would bring it back at six because the strength of schedule. So Stanford has that working for them, and I would say power to them if they can make it through USC, Oregon, and Notre Dame. Another interesting thing is also one, two, and three. Oklahoma State, like I said, it's difficult for them to go undefeated, but they do have a big gap between them and number four. LSU, Bama is going to determine who gets like the guarantee for the national championship. But there's the odd scenario where the loser of LSU Bama could be playing the winner again at the national championship. I personally believe this is contingent on Oklahoma State losing because once Oklahoma State loses, they will fall down in the gap between LSU, Bama, and the rest of the BCS standings will get bigger. Computers respect the SEC. Humans respect the SEC. It is what it is. So whoever loses that game is probably not gonna get bashed back a ton, especially if like LSU goes to Tuscaloosa and lose by three. And nobody's gonna say I don't want to see LSU Bama because clearly it was a close game the first time, and clearly those are the two best teams in the country. So don't rule that out. I know we all say once you lose, you fall back 5 spots. Like Wisconsin fell back 9, but the Peters never liked Wisconsin in the first place. They were just waiting for the humans to bring them back. LSU and Bama will not be treated the same way. So that's the odd scenario for the BCS title. Um, it's gonna be an interesting race. You should watch Saturday. We have Stanford at USC and Clemson at Georgia Tech. Definitely watch it. We'll see how it goes.